All right, people, here we go. Watch this video for Monday, July 20th. Starting off with the SPY daily chart. I guess it had decent range on Friday, but you can see it ended up closing about where it opened. We'll glance at the intraday action. Overall, look at the last 2 days, maybe even really the last 3 days. Look how choppy and sideways the SPY was, which generally isn't great for day trading. You know, I'm an intraday trader. I don't hold overnight, but the chat has been amazing. I think I had my best day of the week Friday. A couple highlights. APT, for those of you that didn't make it to chat, I called early on. I think it was 1978. It was kind of, you can't see it here because these are 5-minute candles, but it's sort of putting in a flag on ones or twos right about here on this candle. And there was the trigger 1978. Went all the way up over 2150 without looking back at the entry. Nice little trade there. VRNA, Kevin S. You can see it ended up giving back a lot of its gains. But Kevin S., you know, one of the favorite setups we teach in the course, we talk about in the chat room. Not the break of 10 here, but that second mouse break of 10 right there. Beautiful call by Kevin S. Through 10, second mouse, and went all the way up through 15 at one point. 1571 is as high as it went. So I don't know, like a 50% move intraday. Wayne gave VNTX $79, which is right here over this flag. Whole number inflection point. Thursday's high not that far away. Recent high flyer, right, an in-play stock, and the 79 never looked back, and it went up over 86. So just a few examples of the fantastic teamwork in chat. I got an email today, or maybe a DM on Twitter, I can't remember, you know, asking, hey, I'm interested in your service, but I want to make sure that you don't just pick low floats and sell them to newbies as they pile in, as your members pile in. And I was just got a chuckle because I already know exactly who he's talking about. We trade all day long, and we trade a little bit of everything. We trade morning gap plays. We trade, you know, opening range breakouts. We trade bounce plays, all kinds of stuff. We have several A+ setups that we stock, and it can be on something like a Tesla, or it can be on something like an HTBX. It's $1 or $2 stock. So if it's tradable and it's A+ and it's in play and it sets up, I'm going to trade it. All right, so what are we watching for Monday? This one is really obscure. I can't say I like it very much, but it showed up on the volume scanner. I just, you know, did a scan a little while ago looking for charts. And you see it had nice volume for this stock. That's still not even 1 million shares. So if you want to see my least favorite stock on the list, it's probably this one. But it's called something education. So it's in the online education space, I believe. At least that's what traders were touting it as. And it also topped out right around the whole number 3. So if the online education plays, think Boxel, BOXL, right? If those things get moving, this one may get found. You see a little bit of extra volume coming in. So maybe through 3 and maybe sometime this week, assuming that you know, that space holds up. I hate that I led the video with that one because it's my least favorite. SPAQ, couple nice calls in chat on this one on Friday. And let's see, I didn't even think I put that on the results page. I didn't, but I actually called this one on an opening range breakout. So the early high here was 1414. It was starting to come up and get volume. And I posted the opening range breakout idea. I know some of you probably Tokyo'd it before it even broke that. But from the 1415 entry, again, never came back to the entry and ended up closing at 1538. I can't remember what I made on this one, but it was a really, really nice trade. And it happened pretty quickly. Anyway, back to the daily. It closed at its highs. Definitely going to watch that one again on Monday. AUTO, I think they were calling this a sympathy to RMBL, which I do have on watch. I'll show you that in a minute. But nice volume and closing well off its highs, but certainly worth watching. That's a big volume spike for this stock. And if it truly is a sympathy to RMBL, and RMBL gets going again, then that makes this one that much more interesting. So PHAS, big volume spike here. Worth noting that this big volume candle got 3 million shares. So generally this thing doesn't trade that much volume. If I slide over 321,000, 400,000, 295, 174. So it's a lower volume stock, but it did have a nice little breakout, you know, I don't know, over a month's worth of trading maybe on Friday, and a fairly strong close. So we'll see. It is a thin stock. I've traded it before. We'll see if I wanted to have high relative volume on the day before I'll consider it. ALNA, another strong volume stock that closed, pretty strong, pretty close to its highs, I guess. 234 was the high. Make sure I got that right. 234 was the high, and it closed at 216. Anyway, looking for a follow-through pattern on that one tomorrow. Ramble, RMB, I told you I'd talk about this one. This thing was on fire. Look at that. I mean, up until the last 30 minutes, this thing was insane. I mean, just insane. And by the way, hats off. I want to say it was Nicholas. Probably looked just like this when Nicholas said looking for a late day squeeze. Somebody may have seen his post and then grabbed this whole number inflection point through 24 with the high of day not that far away. It is a nice little intraday cup and handle. I know I saw some people thanking Nicholas for the post, and look at that. I mean, if you got it through 24 or just a high of day break, that thing just went insane. But the last 30 minutes, it did give back a lot. So you got that big topping tail now. But as a day trader, I'm certainly going to watch it on Monday. VXRT, after this massive 2-day run here, it's really holding up pretty well. So I'm going to keep that one on my radar. I talked about BOXL a little bit ago, that online education. Massive move. I mean, from like $1 to over 450 in, 4 sessions? And now we've got a red day. Now, what I'd like to see is a couple down days into the buy zone down here, between the 8 and the 20-day moving average. But sometimes something is so strong that you do this, you get a move like this, you get one red day, and next thing you know, it's on fire again. So definitely is going to be on a chart for me, and see if I get an A+ setup in it. SALM, 20 million shares traded, so I can't ignore that. And just a month ago, it hit over 260, so interesting, right? Maybe through 2. It actually was looking like it might, it was kind of flagging below 2 near the end of the day. But, the week, we ran out of week. So anyway, that is certainly extended and far from the moving averages, but that's a big volume day, so we're going to keep that one on watch. And a couple more here. DGLY had the big pop on Thursday on a contract that they got, and then Friday, a quiet inside day. I actually kind of expected this might rip again Friday, because I saw them tweet about some local businesses, I think they're in Kansas, that are trying out their thermal imaging, to get people back to work, to test temperature on customers and probably employees as well. And there's some local businesses, I think they're in Lenexa, Kansas, but don't quote me on that. There's some local businesses that are trying out DGLY's product. I actually had to go to their website to see, because I know they make body cameras for police, right? I had to go to their website and see, because I couldn't quite tell from the article if it was their product. And so I looked at the website, and it is. So I kind of expected a follow-through day after reading that article and seeing the tweet, and it just, nobody cared, or it didn't get passed around, nobody realized it. But that's kind of interesting, because they're already, it's already an interesting chart with that volume on Thursday, and then you got the quiet inside day on Friday. So anyway, now they're in the thermal imaging space. Who knew, right? So I want to watch that one. And then lastly, EQ, which had this massive move. This would have been on Monday. Yeah, this would have been last Monday, a week ago. Man, it went from a low of 735 after the gap up all the way to 2705. Now I'm going to switch to 15-minute candles and kind of show you why this is interesting to me. Since this massive move, it has not had an afternoon breakout, what I call an afternoon high of day break since, right? Here's the next day. These are 15-minute candles. Here's the next day. Never came close to, there's its early high, right? Never came close. The next day, it rallied out of the gate, but put in its high still in the opening 30 minutes and never broke that high, right? You can kind of slide to the right and see. Then the next day, which was Thursday, there's its early high, bled lower all day, no afternoon high of day break, and then Friday, kind of the same thing. What I'd like to see is a sideways move like this, or Thursday or Friday that it did, and an afternoon high of day break, right? And then you might expect some kind of a SPAQ move, right? Like it did on Friday. So I do like this setup. It's one of the more interesting ones to me. We're going to add gappers to this list as well. There'll be plenty to trade tomorrow. Let's keep the teamwork going. I'll see you guys in the morning.